Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree farmhouse wooden shamrock, and it's just going to cost us a couple of dollars. We're going to use craft sticks from the Dollar Tree. These are the wide tongue depressor size. And now you can use this wooden shamrock or any shamrock that you have on hand. What I'm actually going to show you how to use today is some black poster board. The poster board that I'm using came in a pack like this, but it was black. They don't really sell it anymore, but you can always use a piece of oak tag. And then we're going to use a variety of paints. These are all chalk paints, so they're going to dry super easy and quick. But we're going to just whitewash them in all different colors. So I have about 30 of them that I used for this size shamrock. Like the wooden one, I'm just going to use it to trace, believe it or not. But you could use it if you want to. Just makes the project a little easier, and we'll talk about that more when we go to cut everything out. But I will show you that what I'm going to start with is I just have I pulled off some natural colored ones that have really great graining, just to give it more of an authentic wood look. And I've put them off to the side. And I'm going to start with the lightest color, which is white. Just a lot of water and a tiny bit of paint because we're going to create a whitewash. And then we're just going to wipe it off with a tissue or a paper towel. Basically, you want to do is I'm not numbering them or lettering them, but you want to paint A, B, C, D, and then when you're done painting all of them, then you're going to go back to A and you're going to, wipe it off. So you give it enough time for the color to set in a little bit. The next two shades are grays. One is Parisian Gray by Folk Art, and the other one is, Castle. I used Castle by Folk Art chalk paint, and the other one is Elephant by Waverly. Then I'm going to use some green. And the green that I have is, it's called Spanish Moss, and it's from Folk Art, and it was gifted to me. And then I'm going to create my own little sage by mixing the Spanish Moss with some white, again, and whitewashed. So that's these four here. I feel like there was 2 shades of gray. Oh yeah, I used mineral. That's right, because it's sort of like more of a taupey color. Forgot about that. And then I just left 4 natural, as you'll see in a minute. So now I'm going to use this shamrock to trace. But of course, you can print one off the internet. You can take 3 hearts and make it. I mean, we've done lots of different things like that on our channel plenty of times before. But you'll see that this poster board is just a little short. So I'm going to go ahead and make the stem just a little shorter. Why not? I just bumped it up so I can match the 2 ends, and I can have that pretty curved bottom on the stem. But you could do whatever works for you. After I cut it out, I picked black. Now, if you're going to use the wood one, paint it black. The reason we want black undertone is because wherever popsicle sticks don't meet, you want that to look like it's dirty, dark, and highlight the lines between them. I think that really adds to it. Now I'm cutting them, all of the popsicle sticks square, basically cutting off the round tips at the part where they just start to go straight, or at the straight right where they start to curve. It probably makes more sense. And I'm keeping them purposefully separated by color because I don't want to create a pattern, but I also don't want light colors to be alike next to each other. So I'm kind of making it so we can lay them all out. Now, you can just go ahead and go for it and just just take it and glue it and go. I mean, if you really are one of those kinds of people who just goes for it. I'm not. I am laying them all out. I've taken a metal ruler just to kind of give me a straight edge in the middle. And then you have to kind of feel like what's going to give you the least amount of cuts is at least what I was going for. So I started sort of in the middle at the widest part, and then I just played with it. I just designed how I wanted to design. If I left a space like that one there, I just know that mentally I'm going to have to fill it in later with a piece of cut off. As you can see, there's going to be a lot of pieces cut off. And then when you have it pretty much how you want it. Now again, there's going to be so many pieces cut off that I'm not worried about the stem because I know I'll have all those pieces to put the stem together at the end. And I forgot that when I was creating this, I actually pilfered 2 pieces of the regular unpainted popsicle stick, so I had to go back and get 2 more out of the case. But really, you need just about 30 of them, I think, depending on the look you want to go for and that kind of thing, and the size of your shamrock and all that. So now I'm just going to start gluing them. I have this one piece here. I'm just going to cut it in half, and it's just going to make it a little easier to cut later. I know that's going to sound weird, but to have the space between them does make it easier to cut. And I'm just using hot glue. I'm gluing down onto the poster board. If you're thinking this is going to be wobbly, we're going to address that in the end. But this really is so nice, and I can't believe the poster board was 4 for $1, so 25 cents. We're using a half a pack of popsicle sticks, which makes this about a 75-cent project. We are going to use a piece of the wired jute, but that's also an option. You know, that you could just use wire and the floral wire there. I mean, we're probably using 5 cents worth of floral wire. So other than the cost of the paint, which doesn't have to be craft paint, I mean, it doesn't have to be chalk paint, excuse me. You could do any paint that you want, you know. This is a really, really inexpensive project. That's all I'm trying to get to. Okay, so with the hot glue, whenever I see that it's going to be like a lot of leftovers, I try to go ahead and fill it in at the at the spot when I'm doing it. Otherwise, I'll leave it to the end if I don't think I have like little pieces left over. You know, I basically saw that I had a lot of that left over, so I just cut it off and I filled in that little area at the top. And I'm just mixing them up, the dark gray, the dark green, the light grays, the light green, the sort of taupey color along with the natural wood, and the white. I will tell you, which is really funny, the white on here shows up so brightly on the camera and so muted in real life. I mean, I wish I could really describe to you the difference. I think it's just the phone's camera is really, really good. So it is a much more subtle look. Now I saw this, I was inspired by this on Pinterest. I think I screen grabbed it 2 St. Patrick's Days ago. And they had made it with shims, you know, shims that you use for construction. And so it was just a few wide planks. There was probably only about 5 or 6 rows. But I said, you know, what can we do from the Dollar Tree? And I was like, genius. When that big Shamrock came out, that's what inspired me. And then I was like, duh, we're not even going to use it, but still, it inspired me anyway. Now this would also look really cute if these were laid on a diagonal. I think there was a heart that came out last year at Target's Dollar Spot at Valentine's Day that had like the planks colored on a diagonal, which would be another really cute way to do it. I just wanted to go as straight as possible. I want to hang it as straight as possible. And that's the look that I was going for, basically. Shiplap, barn boards, whatever you want to call it. Now, once they're, you see we need pieces to fill in that stem. So I'm just cutting off, turn it over, cut off like big pieces. I was having a lot of difficulty with my arthritis cutting these craft sticks, and I will tell you why. The first 20-something that I had were from the Dollar General, and those were really thick compared to the ones from the Dollar Tree. The Dollar Tree ones cut with these Dollar Tree scissors amazingly. The other ones were like really difficult to try to cut, and I'm like trying to squeeze my hand. So keep that in mind. You might want to use a utility knife and a straight edge if you want. I also was not worried about perfectly square edges because, as you could see there when we get up close, I like the spaces between them, and it shows the black through, and it makes it look a little bit more rustic. Now, I had one piece that was really skinny compared to the one before it, which was odd, and I don't know why. So I just took a little scrap and I filled it in because that's what it would look like if I was making this out of barn boards. Now, I want to show you, if you turn it over, you can cut with a scissor or you can cut with a utility knife. If you use a utility knife, then you want to go ahead and use the straight edges, a straight edge with the straight edges whenever possible. And then on the curves, you just want to go slow, take your time, try to make a couple of passes that are in the same, you know, over each other. So this way it gets nice and neat. But I will tell you that I mentioned before that if you wanted to glue all these to that wooden Shamrock, I would use wood glue, and it would be so much easier to cut out. And I mean that. You'll see here in a second, I'm going to actually use that to show you how to cut up against it, just to show you if you end up doing that, that's all. The other thing is, if you do use that, I think I mentioned this, paint it black first. I did mention that. Now you could, so the other option that I was thinking about was the Walmart sells the really huge, they're called giant craft sticks, and I was thinking how it would look really cute with different widths of craft sticks, maybe like a row of the big fat ones, then a couple of rows of these, maybe even a couple of just regular popsicle stick width, and to vary the rows sizes as well. That would look really cute. But I just opted to just stick to this, just to give you guys, I'll give you guys more design ideas or whatever, but I just decided just to stick to this. So now I had a combination of utility knife and scissor, but it was really hard around the curves. But you'll see once you use that wood Shamrock, if you do end up using it, it's so much easier to cut around the curves. You could always use a mason jar lid, anything that's round that can give you those hearts that you can cut up against. Otherwise, you just have to be careful. I want to tell you, I was frustrated a little bit. It was a lot. I kept moving the rows too. That was another thing. I kept hitting the rows. I would start from the bottom next time and work my way up instead. So now to stabilize basically because it just wants to roll, almost like a roll top desk, we're just going to put some of the craft sticks across the back, and if they're too long, we just trim them off, and that keeps it totally stable. And now we're hitting the edges with some sandpaper, just every once in a while when we were cutting a popsicle stick, it didn't cut perfect, so just hit it with a piece of sandpaper wherever possible and necessary, and that's all. Now this is that wire edged jute. If you've never used it before, once you cut it, it wants to unravel on you. So I just go ahead and I always glue the ends. And now what I've done is I've taken 2 sections on both sides, kind of folded in half, and left myself about 4 inches on each side. Actually, it's more like 3 inches on each side. Wrapped it around a pencil to get one of these cute little springs. And then on each end, I kind of created like a J or a hook. And that's what we're going to use to glue to the back of the Shamrock. Now I was kind of like, do I want it on an angle or straight ahead? So I just picked straight ahead. And then what I did was I glued put a wad of glue, the wire down, and then added the craft stick on top. And this is going to give us extra support. It's also going to keep us from burning our fingers. It's going to hold that wire down really nicely. And you guys saw it finished, but now we're just going to add a tiny bit of sage green bow. I couldn't think of that word for a second. If you've been with my channel for a long time, you know I bought this in the store, and I swear it looked gray in the store. But when I got home, you guys all showed me it was sage green, and it works perfectly on this wreath. But you can leave that off if you want to, or a jute bow would be beautiful as well. You can also add the word welcome. I was thinking about adding the word happy and then writing in the word St. Patrick's. I might also add that banner from that wooden wreath with the banner on it, but that's it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this tutorial. Keep in mind, you can use this technique for any shape and color, any project that you want to have that barn board look. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share with friends and family, anybody who might be interested in making one of these or learning the technique. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video, which is pretty much every night. And as always, you guys take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.